Esther chapter 3, verse number 7. We have all known exactly where we got to, where Haman had a plot and a plan, because the people have come to tell Haman that this man called Mordecai was not respecting him, and then he was a Jew. They really referred him as a Jew, and that therefore they were telling him that he's not one of our own. We don't know how he even got his position, and therefore if there is anything, you have right to deal with him. Even we the citizens are bowing. How much more an immigrant? And so open your eyes and do whatever it is. Beloved, that's not the first time this thing has happened. You remember Pharaoh tried it, that he will exterminate all the Jews. So he said that every male that is born must be killed. And so from 2 years down, they started killing, and through that Moses survived that very attempt. Not only him, we also learned that Herod also tried it, that he also wanted to exterminate all the Jews, because Herod was not a Jew and wanted to exterminate. In our modern day, we saw also Hitler coming out with the same. It has been over and over, the anti-Semitism that goes on. Now it's getting even crazier. People go into cemeteries and desecrate the whole cemetery just because it belongs to one particular group called the Jew. And it has been of no little terms. And we can see even the hostility when it comes to discussing the issue about Jews and Palestinians, or what we hear about on the other side, that people lift up their voices and say that, do you think that what the Palestinians are doing, do you think is good? Beloved, God's word is God's word. I am not there to be the judge to ask whether the Jews are doing it right or not. The Bible says that if anyone blesses them, I will bless you. If anyone curses them, I will curse them. And sometimes you don't know why your blessing is being held, because you have a view against the Jew. No matter what, look, the Jew can do whatever that they do. It's only God that will hold them responsible. If your husband, listen very carefully, if your son, your daughter, your husband, whoever that person might be, hold up a view against the Jew, tell the person, not in my home. It can hold up your prosperity, hold up your, because God is true. One thing I know about God, in all our craziness, we don't have to trifle God. That the Palestinians must also have their land. Is that you who should say it? When David bought that land and then say that I'm not going to dedicate anything that is so cheap to the Lord, and David bought that land and the whole place covers up that place, you might not have any understanding of what you are talking about, because you don't have any kind of thing. And so you side with this CNN and all these news media just to criticize the Jew. Beloved, don't let that thing enter your home. It will deny you of blessing, because God said that I will bless you if you bless them, and I will curse you if you curse them. So I don't know what is better than knowing that. So all these people who had this kind of intention of destroying the Jew had already mounted up their skills, and Haman had also had the thought. He said, no, I think I have to think it twice. Now see the plan and the plot, what Naaman did in verse 7 of chapter 3. In the 12th year of King Xerxes, in the first month of Nisan, they cast the poor, that is the lot, in the presence of Haman, to select a day and month, and the lot fell on this 12th month, the month of Adar. Here is it, that poor, it is like a lottery. They have to cast that lottery and then begin to select a day, and when that day falls on, they now go in to look for tax season. For taxation, this was what they were doing, the poor. So it was almost like a lottery. And then you advance your course and they choose everything by lottery. Then Haman said to King Xerxes, there is a certain people despised and scattered among the people in all their provinces of your kingdom, whose customs are different, and those from those of all other people, and who do not obey the king's law. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them. You see, this man is a very crafty guy. He doesn't want to go about anything. He was only talking about custom. He knew that it's not about custom, it's about religion. You see, the first thing the devil will always attack you is your religious status. He wanted to just define that you are not religious minded. You either become a halt religious minded or you become a cool religious minded. Who is a cool religious minded? The one who compromises his stand. It doesn't matter. Everybody is doing it. Let's do it. And therefore, the enemy comes in. The first question is that, did God say this? Did God say that? And then you see, the devil has a way of defaming God. Two methods of defaming God is, number one, he destroys his character. And number two, he make you doubt in your confidence, so that you will not have confidence in God. So this small question, did God say that? Do you know why God said you should not eat of the tree? The moment you eat, you will be wise like him. He always have something to defame God. And he has used this crafty method from the beginning till now. But men are not learning that your religion will be the first thing that he will attack. Did God say that? Oh, that is how it is. Then verse number 9. If it pleases the king, let a decree be issued to destroy them, and I will put 10,000 talents of silver into royal treasury for the men who carry out this business. You see, here is a king who has already gone to war and has lost. The nation was crippled down because of finances. Now it's not coming. And hearing that a man is of that capacity that is going to put 10,000 silver into the coffers of the nation, by which no one can do it, Haman was able to. He said he was going to raise that money and put it into if anybody would carry that very edit and then work according to and bring a way of punishing those who do not obey the laws of the land. Then verse 10. So the king took his signet ring from his finger and gave it to Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of the Jews. Verse 11. Keep the money, the king said to Haman, and do with the people as you please. So the king said, no, this is too much of you. How can we just enjoy what is going to come out and then you have to pay for it? You don't have to pay for it. But then the king threw out his ring as a signature of him, because either the king could not sign or he could not read. But the fact is that he has to pull his signet. That was the seal of his approval unto. But the king did not investigate what the plan was and why is he coming out with a certain group of people to exterminate them. Then on the 13th day of the first month of the royal secretaries were summoned. They wrote out in the script of each province and in the language of each people all Haman's orders to the king's satraps, the governors, and the various provinces, and the nobles of the various people. These were written in the name of the king of Xerxes himself, and sealed with his own ring. Here comes in. Even if you don't know anything at all, there were 127 provinces that King Xerxes was controlling. And in any of these provinces, you can just know that in India alone, how many languages do they have there? Even in Eritrea or Ethiopia, how many languages are spoken over there? So you can just multiply the languages that they were going to be what we will call, there was a great way of language, what we call polyglot, different type of languages that they were going to translate and then bring it to every person on your doorpost. 13. Dispatches were sent by couriers to all the king's provinces with the order to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, women and little children, on a single day, the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, and to plunder their goods. Not only killing them, also to take everything, seize their properties. That's what Hitler did. Killed them and took up their property. To this day, some people, they were stripped of their gold, stripped of all things, which after Hitler died, they saw in the bunkers so many things that has been stolen and has been kept there. Till this day, they don't know how many people could be. Swiss Bank was dealing with all these things. The bank that was taking up all this secret money that was kept there. There is so much money in that Swiss Bank that they don't have the authorship of the people's money. That's how they seized the property of the Jew in that very. That's why it will just be hard for a nation of this nature that do such an evil against will always come on the top. They will just always go down and come up and go down and come up because there is nothing that it is. When I was in Germany, I experienced a lot of things that wasn't right. Now, a copy of the text, verse 14, a copy of the text of the edict was to be issued as law in every province and make known to the people on every nationality, so they would be ready for that day. Spurred on by the king's command, the couriers went out, and the edict was issued on the citadel of Susa. The king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Susa was bewildered. They were all really in perplexity. Why would the king take such a kind of a thing? Who is that person that is going to affect? You know your neighbor. You know the people that they don't belong to there. And telling you that they have a different custom means that they have a different religion. And that is how you can even single them out. And so they don't know what was going on. But in all these things, the king and Haman were drinking together. Beloved, all this time, you know that when the law is edicted, when the law is enacted, there is no way in that kingdom you have to forfeit that law or scrap that law. The law must be carried out. If the law is not carried out, the one who violates it, the person, doesn't matter whether it's a king, you will be removed and killed. And that is the whole thing. Now, here is God in play. God in the supernatural, the ability, God is going to use a way of breaking the law of man and enacting something. And therefore, in all these things, God was behind the scene. He is looking at how God promoted and made Esther to come on the scene in the time like this, when nobody knew what God was doing, nobody knew exactly what was going on. Esther had already taken up a position to become. You see, when the evil that the devil planned, God goes ahead of him in every way to do so. When he knew that he will punish us and put us into hell, God has gone away. From Genesis chapter 3, God has already promised the seed of the woman that will come and turn things around. When I remember Easter, I begin to, the joy in my heart is so strong because God prevented me from going to hell. Not me alone, but the world from going to hell. It's only a choice that people will not receive him. Chapter 4 is when I call it in time like this. In time like this. Chapter 4, when Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. But he went only as far as the king's gate, because no one clothed in sackcloth was allowed to enter it. So here is Mordecai having all these rich experience, knowing exactly that it is because of him that the law has been enacted. And now he just saw something. Look, this man did not pray. He believed in the God, and he believed in one thing, that when it comes to that point, the only thing that you have to put on is your sackcloth. But this man tore his clothing and became naked and was walking around. And then when you tore out your clothing, you pull up a sackcloth, a mourning cloth, to tell that this is it. And in that tradition, they wouldn't allow you to be kind of a leader that will portray bitterness or some kind of wailing, weeping, mourning. It's not allowed. You have to always make hay. When it's even not good, you have to show friends. You see, this is something Christians must learn. Even the heathen king will not allow people to be gloomy, to be grumpy, to go into every area of not showing the best that they can. You have to show your face and show your teeth. You have to be somebody that can encourage the others. You are becoming a leader in the king's palace, and therefore you don't have to show any kind of resentment and sorrow. Beloved, we always enter into our jobs sorrowful, grumpy. We enter into different places as if the whole world is crumbling on us. We are not showing forth the praise of God. It is not only praising God in the morning that God deserves. We have to show in our attitude, in everything that we will do. We will have to make sure that people can see and respect that our God is able to provide all things. It is not your grumpiness that will change the mind of God. God knows exactly behind the scene what is going. The Bible says in Romans chapter 8 verse 28, it says that for all things works for good to them that are called according to his riches. God is working behind the scene for your good. You may not understand it now. Why are you so grumpy? Why are you so moody? Why don't you show the best of you? Even the hidden king will not allow anybody with a mourning cloth to come into his presence. Why do you never put up a very... Are you the only one going through troubles and pain? I wanted to challenge you that there is something about encouraging. Encourage yourself. The Bible said, and David encouraged himself. When the issues are too much that you don't know what to do, encourage yourself. And don't show forth that you are the one going through that, because nothing can stop it. It's only God that can stop it. Only prayer and your constant touch with the Lord that makes God consider and turn things around. It's not your grumpiness, my beloved. I want to challenge every child of God. If the hidden king could not entertain people who are sorrowing to enter his presence, my beloved, we have a king that has already been touched by our weakness. He knows our feeling. It doesn't mean that we have to continue in that sorrow manner. We have to enter into his presence with what? With praise and singing and thanksgiving. And that's the nature of it. It doesn't mean that only when you are praying that you enter with praise, but every place that you will be, let the praise of God be seen in your life. Let the inclination of your thought and everything be built on this confidence that you will not decline. This man, when he saw it, said that it is not allowed for me to enter the king's palace with the kind of mood that I am in, but I will do it until I get to the gate. I will never enter the gate. But he was in that dilemma and knowing that there is a trouble. Even though he never prayed, he had already believed the culture that they have from the beginning. If there is anything, you fall on your face and then you do it. Beloved, this morning I want to challenge everyone that whatever your situation, put a smile on your face. For there is nothing that can change the record of God. It is only Jesus that changes everything, because if you trust in him, make sure and make yourself available to always stand in him, and he will bless us and he will show us the way. In Jesus' name,